My name is Johan van der Kerk, and we are discussing the ultimate business formula. In this series, we've been looking at how do you build a successful and holistic business? How do you make sure that you are guaranteed success? I have designed a business formula that I've learned by building my own businesses and helping hundreds of clients achieve ultimate success over the last 25 years. And I am sharing that online and for free with all of you. Whether you have an existing business or you're planning to start one, this is the ultimate formula. This tells you exactly what you need and in what order you need it. Because let's be honest, there's a lot of gurus out there, a lot of them share info, but nobody truly tells you how to put it together. And that's my mission. My mission is to help you not just understand what needs to be done, but when you need to do it. We've been talking about how do you build a house. We've been talking about how do you build a small business. And we've all agreed that we start with the foundation. And the foundation is personal development. Over the last few videos, we've discussed some elements. We've discussed leadership. We've also discussed identity and self-reflection. And today, I'm going to delve a little bit more into the next element. And that element is values. Values is another intrinsic part of that foundation. That is helping you build a very, very strong base that you can build your business from. Again, hey, people ask, why is personal development so important? Because if you are not clear on who you are, what you stand for, and what you believe in, I promise you, the storms of entrepreneurship is going to cause you to have a shipwreck. You are going to fall out of the race. The statistic shows us that 9 out of 10 businesses fail in the first 5 years. And hey, there's various reasons for this. We'll also be going more in depth into those in the coming months. But the main thing is you have to remember that 9 out of 10 businesses fail. And I am on a mission to change that. I am on a mission to change that so that most businesses succeed. And I'm trying to give you that formula. I have not had a single client fail in a business. I myself have failed many different times. I've burnt my fingers. I have learned the hard way. And that's what I'm sharing with you today and in this series. Talking about values. What are values? Well, values are deep-seated beliefs and principles which guide, and this is the important part, that guide your thinking, your reasoning, and your insight. This is what informs our decisions. In the previous video, I touched a little bit on confirmation bias. So values is a part of that. What do you stand for? What do you believe? Again, we see it a lot. Companies market their values. That's a marketing gimmick these days. They figured out that values are important and they market it. And the companies tell us what they stand for and what they believe in. Sadly, most of these things are just a marketing exercise. And the marketing department decides what values does society find interesting? What values does society believe in? And man, there's so many examples out there of where the marketing department got it wrong and they completely alienated their audience by promoting the wrong values. So values is something that we all have. Values is something that's intrinsic to us. Even if you don't know what it is, you have them. And we tend to attract and be attracted to people that share the similar values to ours. A lot of people wonder, why is religion such a big thing? It's values-based. Hey, never mind whether it has a good impact or a bad impact. We don't talk about that, but people group together and it's on the basis of values. And a lot of religions have great values. They have purpose. They give you some drive, some sense of existence. But we're not here to talk about religion. We're just here to talk about values. That's just an example. So we talk about values. How does that fit into this whole thing again? How does values fit into this foundation? How does values work? And why is it important? I want to share a quote with you. And I'm going to share a quote from the very famous Elvis Presley. And yes, he was a singer, but I think he had a great take on values. Elvis Presley says, values are like fingerprints. Everybody has them. Everybody's is unique. And you leave them all over everything that you do. That means it's intrinsic to your identity. Values is intrinsic to you. And so because we have these values, because it's intrinsic, because you leave them all over whatever you do, it is key to understand what they are so that you can actively use them to grow and succeed in business. Now, why? What does values bring you? And the answer to that is values actually brings consistency. If you are true to your values, you will be much more consistent in what you do. And consistency is one of the keys to building trust. We'll discuss building trust in a different video at a different time, but there's a science behind building trust. And when somebody is consistent, that multiplies our trust in them. When somebody's able to consistently deliver, hey, we tend to trust them. The first time you go to, ladies, you go to a hairdresser, you might be a little bit concerned. Can they do it correctly? Can they get the exact color I want? Can they get the exact style I want? But the more they do it, the more they get it right, the more you trust them, until eventually that person becomes your go-to. It's the same in all things. You want to be that for your clients in business. So you need to be consistent. And values is a great way to help you be consistent, because if you're true to your values, you're being true to yourself. And when you're true to yourself, it doesn't take that much energy to convince people you are different than who you actually are. That also brings us to authenticity. It makes you authentic. Intrinsically, we as human beings, we want to see people being real. We want to see them being themselves. We want to see them being authentic. What you see of me here, you will see it from me everywhere. Whether you see me having a barbecue with my family on a Sunday, whether you see me on some big stage somewhere in the world talking to entrepreneurs, if you see me mixed with famous people, it doesn't matter. I'm always the same. I'm always authentic. I do not compromise because I know who I am. I'm sure of my identity. Another unspoken benefit is that it is a filter so that you attract the right people. I always say, listen, doesn't matter what your values are. I have positive values. I believe in adding value to people. I believe in education. I believe in growth, and I believe in grace. But other people believe in money. It doesn't matter what your values are. It's be true to them. If your main value is money, you need to put it out there. And what will happen is you'll attract other people. You'll attract employees. You'll attract spouses. You'll attract partnerships. You'll attract clientele whose values are money. And it's easier to build relationships with people that share your values than it is with those that are not. If you are trying to convince people that you care about them, but you don't truly do, hey, you're going to have trouble building a relationship. Then put your money up front and say, I'm about money. But if you're about relationships, if you're about growth, if you're about sharing, put that out there. People will value it. And other people that share those values, they will be attracted to whatever it is that you offer when they come across the problem that you actually help them solve. So that's the principle of values. That's why values are important. And values help us in our identity. And so now that you understand that, I'm going to touch on a couple of different aspects in values. I believe that we all have different areas in our lives where we need to understand what values we have. If you want to choose the right life partner, you need to know what you stand for and what you live for. If you are somebody that values saving and living frugally so that you can have security, you cannot have a partner that values spending and a luxury lifestyle and living according to their means and living life to the fullest, if I can put it that way, because you'll never be compatible. You'll always be arguing about whether you're spending too much money, what the lifestyle is like. That said, let's delve into this. What are these areas that I believe you need to define your values in to help you understand yourself a little bit better? And because this is a business channel, because this is what we talk about, the first thing that I'm going to talk about is career. Your professional life. What values do you stand for in your career? And you need to take that area, define it, and pick the values that you subscribe to in that. Is this something, do you subscribe to harmony? Are you about growth? Are you about honesty? Are you about trust? What do you live for? What do you stand for in these areas? Career is one of the big ones. The next one that you have to think about is finances. Again, because this is a business channel, I put it second, but there's no particular order to these things. Is what do you stand for? What do you value in finances and resources? What do you believe, and how do you manage and how do you direct this portion of your life? The next one is social, your wider social circle. Again, what do you stand for? What do you want? What type of friends do you want? What type of things do you like? Are you for adventure, or are you a bit more of a homebody? You need to consider these things, and you need to believe and understand who you are. Again, this part maybe not that much to do with business, but again, if you are a very social person, a very outgoing person, it doesn't help that you want to build a data capturing business, because you're not going to be interacting that much with clients. You're not going to be spending much time with people. And so this might not be something that's very fulfilling to you. But you might be both very fulfilled as a salesperson, running a sales organization, being a broker, being a stockbroker. It doesn't matter, anything in that line. Hey, listen, I'm qualified as a lawyer, but I still love people. I need to be out there. I need to interact with people. And originally in my legal business, what I always did is I loved interacting with the people. That's where I got a lot of my satisfaction from, is the ability to help and interact with people. Next one, moral values. Morally, what do you stand for? We all have morals. We all have things that we intrinsically believe. These are the things that you will generally die for. These are the things that is non-negotiable in your life. What are those? What ones do you subscribe to? For me, honesty is one of the big ones. I'm a big believer in honesty. I like honesty. I believe in transparency. I want people to know. That's why I do this. I want to be transparent. I want to share what I know. I want others to share with me what they know. I want us to grow. That's another one for me. Growth is non-negotiable. I want to continuously grow in my life. I want to grow in my understanding. I want to grow as a businessman. I want to grow as a husband, as a father. I want to continuously grow. These are non-negotiables for me. If you tell me that I can go live on a desert island and I don't have to do anything for the rest of my life, or I can continue doing what I'm doing, but it's going to be a hard road, I choose the latter. That's me. You can choose what you want, but I choose that. That's the morals. What do I stand for? I believe in the value of human life. I believe in equality. These are things that I stand for. What do you stand for? You need to define these things. We are at odds a lot these days because we tend to jump on the quickest bandwagon. We see somebody, we empathize with their struggle, and we decide that's our newest cause. No, you need to decide what you stand for. And by all means, after that, you support anybody else that you feel needs support. But you first need to know what you stand for and what you live for. The next one is personal development. I already touched on that. What do you believe in personal development? A lot of people are like, I'm done. The moment they're out of university or school, they say, never again, I'm done. I've done my learning. That could be you. That might be a difficult path if you want to be an entrepreneur, if you want to grow a business. You need to be in constant development. Your clients are constantly developing. I touched in the previous videos on the subjects of Blockbuster Video that's gone out of business and Netflix that's taken over, and also that there's various other companies that have gone out of business because they didn't stay up to date. So learning doesn't have to be academic learning, but you have to be open for learning if you want to be an entrepreneur, if you want to grow a successful business. There's always new things. There's always new ways of doing things, delivering more value to your clients, to your employees, to the people around you. What do you stand for in terms of personal development? What do you value? I'm a big believer. I believe in developing myself constantly. Like I said, I'm constantly working on my leadership skills. I'm constantly working on being a better dad. I'm a better husband. I'm constantly working on improving myself. I love it. It's to the core in me. I cannot help myself. I love input. I love growing. What is it that you stand for from a personal development perspective? How do you do it? How do you grow? And listen, if you're not that much into it, find a system to manage it. I'm not saying that you can't be an entrepreneur if you're not that keen on personal development, but everybody has something that they stand for. You can believe in slow and steady or fast-paced. It doesn't matter, but you need to decide to find what that is. Then also recreation. What do you value in recreation? Do you value relaxation or do you value fun and adrenaline? What is it that you value in recreation? Again, it's just one of those things. I've been on a couple of holidays where I thought to myself afterwards, never, ever again. Never again. And you know why? Because from a recreational perspective, the people we went on holiday with, they might be great dinner buddies. They might be great people to go to dinner with and do this with, but they were not great people to go on holiday with. Contrary to that, I've also had things where I've recreationally met people that was absolutely phenomenal. And then in business, they were not that great. Or in recreation, they were not that great, but in business they were. So define what you stand for, define recreation. Then another thing, I touched on gratefulness in the previous video. I believe part of gratefulness is giving back. Service. Where do you serve? Where do you serve outside of business? I believe that empowers you, that gives you a sense of accomplishment, even when things are tough in life. Where are you serving others? Is it that you serve in a local soup kitchen? What do you believe in for these things? What do you stand for? Again, if you don't believe in it, that's fine. Then you could put a low priority on it. But say what you believe in terms of service, giving back. How do you support your community? And again, guys, I'm a big believer. You cannot give what you do not have. That's a little tip. You cannot give what you do not have. Sounds crazy, but it's the truth. A lot of us want to give a lot of time to charity, but our home lives are falling apart, or our businesses are falling apart. We're spending too much time in the business, not enough time with the family. It's all about having that balance and understanding it. But what are you doing in terms of service and giving? Where are you giving back? That's part of life. That's part of satisfaction, and that's part of purpose. Another one then is private. I haven't touched on that then. What do you stand for in your private life? In your marriage, with your children, with your closer family? What are the values there for you? What do you value? What do you want out of that? Then health. What do you believe in health? Hey, health is a big thing these days. We as a society are making leaps and strides. Thank God for that we are moving forward. We are able to cure diseases that's never been able to be cured before. But what do you believe on? I will tell you on my personal journey, I've always been a person that likes my sport and that do sport. But as I got older, I had less and less time. I stopped playing golf. I went to the gym still a couple of times a week. I stopped cycling. I didn't have the time. But you know what? As I reached my 40s, I started realizing, okay, health wasn't high on my priority list earlier. Now I'm starting to change my view on it. And I've changed my view on health and how I should approach it. What is yours? You have to define it. You have to know what you believe in health. If you have your values clearly defined, that will help you set your priorities. 2 left that I believe in out of the 11. The next one is spiritual. From a spiritual perspective, what do you believe in? Hey, do you believe in a God? What do you believe in that God? What do you stand for? If you don't believe in a God, it doesn't matter. Just write down what you believe. What do you see from a spiritual perspective? This is an aspect that we have to define in our lives. If it doesn't play a role, it doesn't play a role. And if it does, what role does it play? Because it does have an influence if you do believe. It does have an influence if you don't believe. It dictates an approach to life in general, so you have to define it. And then the last one is just an open area. It's essentially any other values that you might find important to yourselves. I just would like to put a general area in there. I don't want to put boxes around people constantly. I want you to define yourself. But I believe those 11, that's areas of your life that you need to define your values in. And when you do that, that will help you with your identity again. And guys, I go much more in depth into this at some point in time in the future. But make sure that you don't miss any of that by signing up to our newsletter. The link again is in the description below. Sign up for the newsletter and I will continuously provide you with some more and more valuable information. Also, don't forget to subscribe and click the like button and also click the notification bell below so that you don't miss any of this valuable content in the future. So what is the takeaway for today? The takeaway today is that your values is intrinsic to your identity. Your values are intrinsic to you. It dictates your consistency. It helps you be consistent. It dictates your authenticity, which helps you connect more with your clients and with your employees and the people in your life. And it helps you filter out the people that you do not need in your life and that you don't want in your life, whether it's difficult clients or whether it is the wrong partners, whether it is anything. It helps you filter the ones out that you don't need and attract the ones that you do. Remember, your values is like your fingerprints, and you leave it all over everything that you do.